Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here, and welcome to Star Conflict. And, I'm not really sure, I've never really gotten into this game. I played this like a year ago, and it's a very complex game. It doesn't look like it is at first glance, but trust me, it is. So, basically, it's a space shooter. At least it looks like one, but it is also quite a lot like an RPG. And the reason I say that is what you see at the bottom of the screen right here. All of these things come into play. This is your equipment loadout, but then you also have your crew and their different sort of perks and things that you assign, and each ship has its own special module, and each of them have their own roles, and so on and so forth. And the ship I'm going to be looking at today is the Archelon. This is a Tier 7 frigate belonging to the Federation. Now, this is a premium ship because this is a free-to-play game, and Gaijin Entertainment have kindly provided me with this promo account so I can show you any of the ships currently in the game, or at least most of them anyway. So, we go into the ship trees. The Federation is this faction here, and then we also have the Empire, and we have Jericho over here as well. And they all have their unique style, and unique sort of perks about them, and unique designs, and so on. So, the Archelon is actually located further up. It's over here, right in the middle. The tiers go all the way up to tier 15, where it's pretty much the end game. So, you do have a lot of special ships, including destroyers, which I'll show off if you guys are interested. But for the most part, there's a lot of different ships, from frigates to fighters and so on. So there's a lot of different ships to take a look at. Now, I do quite like the look of the Archelon. It's got this sort of stealth bomber look to it, but looks can be deceiving. This is, in fact, a tank. So this here is a frigate with the guard role. So it has a lot of survivability, and it's very hard to kill. And its special module makes all enemies lock you as a target. It forces them to lock onto you, meaning that you'll take the hit, whereas your teammates won't. Now, of course, they can skill shot your teammates if they so choose, but all their lock-on weapons, including missiles and other secondary weapons, are forced to attack you instead. And that's where all of your special modules come in. Or rather, active modules. So we have shield boosters and repair kits, but we also have an energy converter, which converts damage that you take into damage that's reflected. Think of it as Genji in space, and you reflect damage back at your enemy, but you still take that damage. It just converts that amount of damage into damage to the enemy as well. And then, of course, we have your radiation converter, which will convert any damage into shield restoration, and the ship then doesn't take damage. So we can actually survive a lot more than it might initially appear. And, of course, compared to these fighters, which have about 12,000 points combined survivability, the Archelon has a whopping 55,000. So it definitely is far more survivable than most other things in its tier. So we're going to take the ship out and see what we can really do with it. Now, this game has expanded quite a lot since I played it a year ago, and there's quite a lot of game modes. There's PvP and PvE, as well as co-op against the AI, which for the most part is the same as PvE, just with some slight differences to them. And of course they have bonuses as well, daily bonuses and so on. Did I mention this is a free-to-play game? There's a lot of elements that you will recognize then. And of course there are special events that cycle once in a while, and a competitive mode which you can form teams to compete in. So you can actually take part in leagues with pre-made teams if you so choose. And then of course we can undock into open space. We can actually go and explore and find special loot, and of course kill pirates. And of course there is a karma system which is playing into the sort of factions and so on. So it's quite complicated. It's quite complicated, I will say. But let's get on with it and let's check out the PvP, because you want to see how combat works in this game. This is probably the best way to do it. Alright, here we are, and I think this match has already begun, so... Yes, it is actually just begun, and we've just joined in with this. So we're going to drop in with the Archelon here. We are much bigger than most of our enemies here, and the point is, we are going to go and try and capture these beacons and take some of the heat off our teammates. Now, we have a little bit of boost here. Ships are capable of strafing and moving upwards and downwards. So you have full three-dimensional movement here. Of course, there is roll as well. Now, the weapons I'm using are actually made from alien technology, and that allows them to lock onto enemies, provided they're in the same horizontal plane as me, which I thought was quite interesting, so I wanted to show that off. They are kind of medium-range weapons, though, so I need to get in quite close to even use them. But you can see there's quite a lot happening right now. We've even got a sniper on our team who's firing right now. So I'm going to align myself with this guy's movement here, and let's try to land some shots there. So you can see that slight homing effect going on there. This weapon does electromagnetic damage, which is one of the 3 main types of damage in this game. And EM damage does a lot more damage to shields than it does to hull. But then, of course, you have thermal and kinetic as well. Kinetic being the based one that is more effective against most other forms of... Actually, to be honest, I don't really know. Oh, we've just been taken out. And that would be the reason why there is an enemy destroyer right there, who's just collided with an asteroid. So, that is quite a dangerous thing. That's a rank 8 destroyer, so it's not a huge destroyer, but it's still pretty damn big. So against a frigate like me, probably not the best sort of thing. Definitely want to stay away from that. So that was near Beacon C, where he was hitting us. So we're going to go over to A and try to defend this one. Stop the enemy from taking out. So what you can see here is a sort of domination-style game mode with all of the little checkpoints or capture points to kind of take over. And you can see the tickets ticking down in the top there in a sort of battlefield-style ticketing system. Alright, the focusing target there, I believe that is another frigate. Although that could be a destroyer. I think that might have been the destroyer that attacked us earlier. So you can see the distance over there in meters and the different icons denoting what type of enemy they are. And, yeah, we have a friendly destroyer over there with a shield deployed. So we're going to try and stick with them for a little bit of cover. Now, of course, we do have an afterburner modifier, which actually affects us in all directions, even though it seems like it's firing the rear engines. It actually affects movement in all directions, so we can actually get a nice little bit of boost movement there. So movement is quite crucial in this game. Okay, so we got an enemy here. Gonna try and fire some at him here. We got a lock. There's a couple of hits there, but it's hitting that asteroid, so I'm gonna try and get around it and just pop up a little bit more. See if we can land that there. Got a little bit of damage assist there. And that's the game. That was actually quite short, so it looks like our team has really overpowered them, but this is what happens, of course, when you win. You actually get a chance for a loot search. Now, this is a guaranteed loot drop right here, so of course I'm going to open that. And we've got ourselves some resources which we can sell or we can use for crafting. Let's just scan some of the other parts here. Got another 2 more tries. And there we go. So, we found some resources and some credits. So that's something that gives you a little bit of extra reward at the end of each mission. So we only used the Archelon, so we only got additional... Oh, we've been invited to a corporation. Unfortunately, not something I can really do on a promo account, so I'm going to decline that as much as I would like to. But, that's something we can look at here. So that's the ship lineup that we had. Now, you can respawn in every ship, so each ship doesn't get destroyed. You can reuse it. But it takes into account the entire loadout, much like it does in War Thunder. So if you played War Thunder, you might recognize that. Alright, so let's get into another match and see what's what. Alright, here we go, and this is a survival mode, so we have to destroy as many enemies as possible. And, this is about as... yeah. Weapons will deal 3 times more damage in this mode, so we really have to stay alive. So, good thing we're in a very survivable ship, but I'm afraid there may be a number of... Alright, I'm gonna pop all of my abilities here to try and keep us alive. There's a lot of very, very fast ships here. So this is about as close to a sort of deathmatch mode as you will get in this game. So compared to games like Dreadnought and the like, you don't really get that sort of thing there. Alright, so this guy is really juking me at the moment, so I'm going to duck back down behind enemy lines here and try to get into some cover. Alright, so there's another enemy down. We're really making a mess of them, but I need to stay alive. Because, of course, these guys are much better at this game than I am. And that could prove very dangerous for me. And there it goes. Somebody actually hit me with a tactical nuke. So, like I said, this ship is survivable. To a degree. Alright, there's another one coming in there. I'm going to try to get a lock on him. Firing off some damage there. He's popped up a shield. I want to definitely avoid firing into it. Let's get back around here. I think he has been taken out though, so we might not have to worry too much about it. Gonna try and slow ourselves down and get around to this side here. So just moving around very carefully in between cover. Since we don't have the longest of range, we don't really want to get caught out like that. And of course, a lot of very fast moving ships are definitely going to outrun us. Can't quite hit this guy, unfortunately. As much as I would like to. And, yeah. Taking on a destroyer. Probably not the best idea. But it is coming down to the wire. Very, very close. 625. So if I stay alive just a little bit longer, might even be able to make this work out in the long term. So I want to stay behind. I don't want to crash into my teammate there. But definitely don't want to be in the main line of fire. I'm going to let this destroyer take the hits where needed. And I got killed. I was the killing blow for the enemy team, unfortunately. So that's not good. But, yeah, it could have been worse. Alright, so that's just a very, very quick look at Star Conflict. And of course, one thing I didn't cover before is you can really customize the look of your ships. You can put little insignias on them. You can even change the color. I can change it like this. Make it a little bit of a silver bullet type thing. Or even go for these sort of red flames there. You can really change the colors. You can even change them individually if we so choose. So if I want to have a sort of golden ship, I can actually do that. I can even go with hot pink if I want to. So there's a lot of different things we can do here. But just a very quick look at Star Conflict. Let me know what you think of this game down in the comments below. I know a lot of you guys who followed me since the time when we were playing Dreadnought, you guys seem to like the Fractured Space playthrough, and compared to that, let me know what you think of this game. If you want to see more of it, let me know down in the comments below. My name is Panzer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.